Let's talk about this Michael Porter Jr. stuff very quickly. He's going to have back surgery, might be out for the rest of the season. The Rockets aren't quite sure. They made the decision early enough where I think it's open ended. This is really a gut punch, another gut punch for a Nuggets team that already missing Jamal Murray, now missing PJ Dozier, has had their fair share of offensive struggles this year. Jokic was out with a wrist injury for a while. He did return on Monday night though, so that's also good news for them. It's just, what do they do? And I think there are a bunch of different ways to look at it. They're a team that's 500. They're 16th in offensive efficiency, 19th in defensive efficiency. Ironically, I destroyed my co-host Adam for saying that Jokic belonged in the early season defensive player of the year discussion. I still kind of believe he needed to be shamed for that, but not having Jokic really seemed to fuck with Denver's defense. He plays well in their hyper aggressive style, has good hands, and can really get up onto the ball, and is at least in the right spots. And so going from him to either a smaller front court or having to rely on just guys who don't have as much reps or aren't as good defensively in that scheme really hurt them. And then also, you can't just expect Aaron Gordon to anchor that all on his own. So the defense might pick up for Denver. The offense is going to be fine with Jokic on the floor. I think you need to help replace Dozier, what he brought to you defensively, or just looking at Porter Jr. and Dozier collectively, you need another wing who can hoist threes. I don't really know what trades out there they're going to be willing to make. I like Eric Gordon for this team, but then you get into scenarios where you're trading two of JaMychal Green, Jeff Green, and Monte Morris, plus something else. He's too small for you as well. He's going to give you some offensive creativity, hit deep threes, get at the rim. That's great. But you probably want someone who can more consistently defend wings. And if you're going to funnel so much of your resources into an $18+ million per year player, Eric Gordon's just not properly sized for it. I also don't know that you make that type of a big time move when you're dealing with so many injuries. I don't know who's going to make me feel a lot better about the Nuggets' immediate title chances should you tell me they're not going to have Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray to close this year. And there's a very real chance that they won't. And you don't want to funnel your assets into just a wasted season. Maybe there's more of a stopgap here. Can you look at getting a Yuta Watanabe from Toronto? Would they even be willing to move him? Danuel House again in Houston is someone who, in theory, can hit threes, even though he's not right now. He's going to give you some just defensive positional malleability. I mean, like, those are probably the scale of moves that Denver would be better off focusing on, because I don't know what the all-in proposition really looks like for them. But two, it is fairly hard for them to match salary. Because you're not trading Gordon, sign him to an extension, but you're not trading Gordon, you're not trading Jokic, you're not trading Murray, you're not trading Michael Porter Jr. at this point. And so the salary matching gets tough after that. And if you're going to give up a Bones Highland or even a Zeke Naji, you need to be getting back someone you view as probably definitely a longer term part of your core. And even if it's a Reggie Bullock and you're just betting on, let's say the Mavericks want to move him to a conference rival and that you can bank on him playing better with you, you're not giving up Bones Highland for that type of equity. Josh Hart in New Orleans would be interesting. He's having a hell of a year. I'd be curious what the asking rate is for that. I don't think they're going to want the first round pick that Denver can trade, which I believe is in 2027. Do you give up Bones Highland for Josh Hart when Hart is not really a shot creator? You do have him under team control beyond this season if you want. That is Josh Hart. But Highland, there's a swing there. Like, he has a high ceiling as someone who can generate his own offense, but is also just right now, we saw it on Monday night, his return to the lineup, just did a bunch of super deep threes and really opens up the floor for you and can have these big nights. If you can figure out a way to get Josh Hart without giving up Bones Highland, if it's costing you Zeke, if it's costing you one of the Greens, if it's costing you Monte Morris, would you Zeke Naji, Monte Morris for Josh Hart? Do the Pelicans even want to do that? I think Monte Morris could actually probably help their offense, and Zeke Naji deepens their center rotation. But you have good minutes from Willie Hernangomez right now, plus Jonas Valanciunas. Jackson Hayes been bounced from the rotation. So yeah, even that becomes an issue. Can you send Zeke Naji somewhere else that might send New Orleans something that they want? Josh Hart might be like the biggest name that I could envision the Nuggets targeting insofar as they're even willing to go that far. And I don't know that I'd endorse them. I'm always for teams going after it, but just the sheer breadth of the injuries, the the players that they're missing. I just can't bring myself, unless they're going to stumble into someone that we can't even think about right now. I don't know why you would be ultra aggressive on the trade market here. You should probably just be monitoring more so for cheaper flyers or a middle end option. Again, Josh Hart might be the limit for me, and that's even being generous to someone who you want to shoot threes. Never just been this super efficient, high volume guy from deep for his career, and so that would be something else to consider.